Hey everyone, Matt here. It is Wednesday. That is the main event time where we go over our main topics for the week. So if you're watching or listening, this is the meat and potatoes of the episode. If we haven't have any news to discuss as well, that's where we'll talk about it here. For the full episode, check us out on Saturdays. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you enjoyed.
Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined by RJ from Do You Take Cards. RJ, how are you this week?
It has rained in upstate New York at least for a minute every weekend since November of 2024. It has been over a half a year of there being some form of precipitation, either rain or snow, every weekend since November of 24. My grass is very green, but very heavy right now.
Very Seattle-like.
Yes.
There you go. And we're joined by Lani from the Call Me Lani YouTube channel. Lani, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. I am slightly without voice, so leave your comments in the comment. I know my voice sounds like I am auditioning for a 90s radio station for those that are old enough to remember that. I'm going to leave that right there because I just got hit in the face with some age right there.
You want to get hit in the face with some age light right there? I just looked at what albums turned 30 last year, and it hurt my soul. Like Weezer's Blue album.
Goofy movie turned 30. And I love that movie.
Ow!
Yep.
Yeah, I just did that.
The part that hits me the most is my son now loves that movie, and I realized it's 30 years old.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a bit of, that's a pain point.
Don't forget, the first Jurassic Park came out in 1996 or something, I believe. So we're about to do this again next year. And I also need to go watch Jurassic Park again because it's literally one of my favorite movies of all time.
Why are you trying to hurt us, Lani? Because now I also feel very old. We all feel old.
A little bit. The power line transcends generations, and that's all that matters.
Powerline and Tevin Campbell.
Oh, there we go.
That's an underrated cult classic right there, man. I can't even lie. And we'll be right back after these messages.
There you go. And we're joined by Craig Kit Kat in the Discords of choice. Craig, how are you today?
I am doing well. It has been a weekend. The Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was the Indy 500. I have put away more than my share of liquid that was not water. And it is a rough Monday.
Look, Matt, you can't just say Craig. It's either Kit Kat or it's top flight security of the world, Craig.
100%.
Oh, well.
And if you get that, hit the like button. If not, Google it and you'll find it really fast.
Fun fact, my child is definitely afraid of the word Google. Visceral reaction to the word Google. So that'll do it for questions. We'll move over to our news roundup and topics. News this week. There's no news this week. It was the week before a holiday. There was some transportation news, and Clear went up another $10 per year. But if you have the right credit cards, you pay nothing. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to jump into our topics. And Lani, how about you start us off with topics this week?
Sounds great. So my topic this week is, I don't even know if it's a topic, more of a direct question or just a rhetorical, open-ended question. I know that those both can't be the same. But anyway, we talk about Central Point and effective annual fee like all the time, especially in this community. But for those that actually purchase their tickets with cash, what about the math when it comes to basic economy versus standard? And of course, basic economy, when you're with the big three, is we're going to give you economy seat with limitations and restrictions at a basic price. And the math comes in is that, and I saw this in an article and I went and tested it myself like over this weekend. And I found it myself, is that, yes, this basic seems like a great deal, especially on budget flights. We're like Frontier and Breeze, Allegiant and Spirit, etc. But when you do the math, if you're checking a bag or not, and this is the variable here, if you have that checked bag versus if you want to pick a seat or just get the lottery of they're going to seat you where they seat you, means you're probably going to end up in the middle row on the big three. When it comes down to doing that math, oh yeah, I bought basic economy, but I need to check a bag and I want to pick a seat. You actually just pay more than if you just went regular economy. So when it comes to my question of this open-ended topic, do you consider these basic economy deals on the big three, in this case, United American Delta, as even good deals? Or if you're going to do it, is it, yeah, do it, but have literally no intention of checking a bag and you're happy wherever they're going to put you? I am going to start with Craig on this one.
So let me be the first to say, and Lani, I don't think you've ever heard this story. We are barred from flying on Allegiant as an airline in general. My wife had a very interesting trip to Phoenix, so we will pocket that for a sec. But I think, to your point, these basic economy tickets nickel and dime you so much. I really don't believe it's worthwhile unless you know that 100% this is an emergency case. I just have to take this flight. I don't believe that it's worth it. Even for us with high status for airlines, using a basic economy seat, I can't enter the lounge. I can't cancel that flight. And if I do, they're going to take $100 from that. But that $100 is just a thank you back for having status. I don't find it to be a truly effective cost saving measure. And I will say, we a good portion, despite having points generated from work and things like that, we pay a good portion of our flights, especially domestically, in cash, just because it helps to keep a cushion for the amount of points that we have. And I'm going to be honest. If that is what works for your pocket, that is what's most important, right? And I think that is a missed art that we have in some of the credit card community is that people have different income brackets and we have different abilities to spend money. And sometimes a cheaper ticket and me paying $30 for a bag is okay. But as a whole, I just don't find it, I find it to be a little bit predatory. And if you look at some of those terms and conditions, for example, Delta changing their naming conventions recently to just, was it Delta Cabin? Or that is misleading, right? Let's say, and we've all made a joke about it, you're the random 22-year-old with a Amex Platinum or a Delta Reserve, and you buy this main cabin or whatever the new basic economy thing is for Delta. Sorry, kiddo, you can't get in the lounge now. Or no, you can't pick your seat. No, you can't do all these other things and these restrictions. Personally, for me, even as someone that is recently no longer in that time frame or that important portion of my life, I don't find it to be a viable way for travel. And I'll also say this, if you have young kids, they say in the terms and conditions, we will do our best to ensure that you are seated next to your children. It does not give you the guarantee that you will be next to your children. And with a 2-year-old, I can't afford to not be next to my kid. Can you imagine just like, all right, see you, little guy, like I'm walking away? And then you're at the mercy for all those wonderful Reddit stories of, can you believe this person asked me to switch? Your emergency is not my priority. And I think for me, it's a situation I don't want to put myself in to have to deal with the fallout of. And I'll say, I think too, with a lot of these quote unquote budget airlines, they're no longer budget. The reason we aren't allowed to fly Allegiant, we drove from Terre Haute, Indiana to South Bend, Indiana for a flight that was $37 cheaper than just flying AA from Indianapolis, which is 45 minutes away. For those of you that don't know, a little geography, that is a 3.5, almost 4 hour drive. So you got to weigh your time, you got to weigh your effort. And I'll just say that for me, I'm now, thankfully, at the point in time where my time is more important than saving anything less than a couple $100s. Right. So that's where I am with it. But yeah, I don't find basic economy to be a good deal in any way.
I kind of want to hear this Allegiant story, so we will have to invite you back when we hit members only. I'm going to keep pushing members only, y'all. Anyway, thank you for that. So yeah, Craig has definitely done the math. Matt, have you done the basic economy math? Where literally, like I said, in most cases, when I did my research, if you just checked one bag, you've already paid too much, and you still don't
Yep.
get to pick your seat. So, have you ever done this math before? And do you think it's something that the big three should look into, or more importantly, our viewers should be aware of?
Viewers should definitely be aware of it, especially if you are looking at the like budget airlines, because Breeze sends me an email every other week. Hey, we've got $39 one-way flights. $39 one-way flights. You have my attention. But you have to be booking their lowest class, and you aren't going to get your checked bags. You're not going to have your ability to choose your seat. You're not going to have any of those basic comforts that the low class, not low class isn't the right word, but like the low budget airlines introduced as a way to compete as in a race to the bottom that the big three have glommed onto and used with their basic economies, that it it doesn't make sense, but it looks like such a great deal, and nobody wants to do the nuanced research of just pricing things out, because as soon as you start putting in, I want to check a bag, your $39 one-way flight is suddenly 90, 120. You like tripled the cost, quadrupled the cost of the flight, because you're not booking into the class that they advertise to you. Same would be true with United's basic economy. Same would be true with Delta's main basic now. And like they've got main basic, classic basic, and basic extra, I want to say. RJ.
That is not. It's main basic, main refundable for that tier.
Okay. Sorry. I know there was like classic, basic, and extra. Oh no, sorry. Those are the higher tiers. But like the bargain basement stuff, bargain basement prices for flights will give you bargain basement options to utilize for the flight. If you're not going to get your check back, if you're somebody who checks a bag, either you're getting a credit card with the airline in question so that you can generally get that check bag covered, which even like the terms and conditions on the cards will say you have to book at least this class to have your bags covered. So one, read your terms and conditions, or get a large language model to summarize your terms and conditions for you if you don't want to read your terms and conditions. Two, make sure that you're booking the right class for everything. The math doesn't math of basic economy versus standard. If you're going to be flying the big three, book standard. Like it's a little bit extra money, but it's going to be so much less off the top of mind, because now you don't have to think, oh, do I have to worry about check bags? No, if your fare includes a check bag, you're good. Or if you fly this airline enough, you have a credit card, you've decided to get a credit card with this airline, that the check bag is included. And potentially a check bag is included for you and up to 9 of your friends on your flight. Depending on which card it is, you can get a lot of savings that way. Basic is not a great deal. Basic economy is not a great deal. Super basic from Frontier, Breeze, Allegiant, Spirit, JetBlue, whoever, that's not a great deal. And the big threes, like ultra basic prices, to compete on those levels. The $19 flight sounds amazing. The $19 flight is you sitting in a chair with nothing else allowed for you that day. And if you're going someplace for a vacation that's like a week long and you fly out on Frontier and you pick the $19 flight out, where's your bag? Stuck at home.
I'm laughing because it wasn't a $19 flight, but I remember being back in Illinois. Shout out to the Midwest folks, right, Craig? Anyway, it was like a $49 or $39 flight to Vegas. And an Allegiant would fly out on either a Friday night, so you get there Friday night, but then you could leave first thing Sunday morning or first thing Monday morning, or late Sunday night or first thing Monday morning, where I took advantage of it. I didn't take a bag. I took like a backpack, and I said, I will buy clothes when I get there. And it actually worked out that way.
If that's your strategy and that's the way that it's going to work, great. But if you're doing like that week, if you're doing more than a weekend,
I did hotel tonight every night. I bought my undies, my socks, extra pair of pants, like a 6-pack of t-shirts. Like I was just rocking a black t-shirt all weekend. Like, it was clean, but it actually worked out better than checking a bag.
Okay. I don't
Stories
know.
about Lani travels.
Dangerous, man. I have to at least have a pair of underwear with me.
Anyway, no, I think the math on basic economy versus standard is just going to be way less of a headache, way less of a concern, and you don't get caught up at the airport because a lot of folks will buy the basic economy, go to the airport expecting that everything's good, and then being told there's X, Y, and Z surcharges because of the class fare that they booked, and they didn't research it because they saw $50 from JFK to Cancun and said, I want to take a $50 flight. And they got caught by the marketing speak. So it's not great. It's not good. I don't like that the airlines do this. And I don't like that there was a whole subclass of airlines that became popular because of this. And then there's Ryanair.
You just reminded me of the folks that like switch airlines and they buy their ticket, forget to give them their KTN, and they get in the TSA pre-check line, and they're like, "You don't have pre-check. You gotta go stand in the regular line." Like, I do. You didn't give it to us in 24 hours. You gotta go stand over there. And then they're taking laptops out of bags and shoes off, and the whole vacation, or at least that part of their day, is ruined. That's what you just reminded me of. So, folks, always add in your KTN. Just add it to all your airline accounts if you fly with them or not. Don't forget that number. Don't forget to add that number. RJ. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, no, I was going to say, as soon as you get your KTN, as soon as PreCheck or Global Entry gives you your KTN, spend like the 3 hours, go through every airline that you could possibly fly with, go into your settings, go into your preferences, add your KTN as soon as possible. Once I get mine, I know I'm doing that.
Okay, RJ.
So one quick thing before I go. So the main basic on Delta, you now have to hit a button that says that you've read all of the restrictions that come with the basic before they will let you buy that ticket. Which I do appreciate that. Like, people are still not going to read it, but at least they're at least making you click a box, which is interesting. I didn't know anybody who did that. So anyway, to my actual answer, there is a saying that it is expensive to be poor. And I think that comes in with this sort of travel, right? Because I have friends who they do one vacation a year. They save up all year and they have to save up all year for one sort of main trip. The problem is, and thankfully I've helped a couple of them realize that no, if you spend $10 more here, you'll save like $100 here. But that's the problem is if you're a family with 3 or 4 kids, right? So it's not just vacations are centered really around 2 to 4 people. Once you get past that 4 mark, it's really difficult. So if you have 3, 4 kids and you and your partner are going on this trip, it can be really challenging for all of the logistics. And I've had friends like do this and they try to get the budget option because they want to be able to maybe have a nicer meal with the family. They want to do all of these other things, but they end up spending more money because of baggage fees, because of all of this other stuff. And a lot of times, what I've tried to help my friends who have been able to help with this is explain like, you have to look at what you get for what you're paying for. And if you can't afford how you want to do it, there are other options, right? Taking the cheapest flight is not always the best way for you to have this vacation because you're going to end up spending sometimes double the ticket just on baggage fees. And okay, so you're getting in at 10 o'clock at night, but the hotel you picked doesn't have overnight check-in. What do you mean they don't have overnight check-in? Their lobby closes at 9 o'clock. If you don't have a key card to get into the hotel, you're not going to be able to check in. So what are you going to do? I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at other flights or let's take a look at other hotel, right? Like those are the things that if you're trying to do the absolute budget options are going to kill you every time. And I think the problem is like the group of us, the people in our Discord, the people who listen to this, travel probably enough to where they're going to look at what the check-in time is, what the checkout time is, are they open for late check-in, things like that, right? But if you travel once a year maybe, and sometimes you fly and sometimes you drive, so it's not a constant thing where you're traveling by plane, like these are the things where they get you. And I think as you're anybody who's starting to travel more, whether you're older or younger, whatever, like you have to, when you're doing the math for the trip, go your last trip, whatever last trip you took, whether you're a seasoned traveler or not, try to do that trip as a budget trip, like the absolute budget, and then see all of the add-ons that you would have to do, and then go like one level up, right? Instead of basic economy, go to the main cabin or whatever it is on your airline of choice. And it's going to be more expensive at first, but as you start adding up all of those little things, it's actually probably going to end up being cheaper. And that go to the next level up, but it ends up being cheaper is, I think, the hardest part for people who were not raised with money. Because I am from an area like was not raised with money. A lot of my friends make somewhere in the 30s for their income, and that's a common thing where I'm from, right? So their one trip a year really does take a substantial amount of saving time. And farm country is farm country, right? Somebody's got to watch the cows when you go on vacation. So it takes a lot of planning to do this, but it also, if you're going to try to do it for as cheaply as possible, sometimes the actual cheapest option on paper is not the cheapest option in reality. That is what I wish people would think of more, is look at all of the options available. And I'm not advocating everybody go to first class, mostly because I want to have my seat when I get on the plane. But take a look at what just main cabin versus the basic economy does. Take a look at Comfort Plus. Sometimes I have looked at tickets and Comfort Plus is cheaper than main cabin, but you have to select the option so you can see all of the accommodations, right? Take a look at different things. I've seen it with Hilton. Sometimes one bedroom suites are cheaper than the standard room because of the makeup of that hotel and what people have booked. Take a look at other options and see what works versus just going to the budget option because you think that's going to be the best in the long term for this trip. So ultimately it sucks that the people who are probably going to be forced to pay are the people who don't have the budget to compensate for those things, right? If I flew on Delta and for some reason they charged me $50 for a bag, like I would be annoyed. We would be having a conversation about that, but I would just eat it. But I have friends that if they did go on a trip and it was a $50 bag, then they might have to skip a meal. Like their kids will eat, but they'll take the fries off the kids' plate or whatever. So it becomes a thing, right? And that is the unfortunate part of travel is these companies are out to make money and they're out to make money on the people who are the easiest mark to make that money off of sometimes.
It's a business. All right. That's everyone. I don't really have an answer to this question. I know someone, just in case anyone wants to hear mine, but the closest thing I could relate it to is flying on an airline that's not United, which is something I try not to do. And it can be international, it could also be domestic, but even on a domestic flight, the only way I can compare it to is wait a sec. I don't get to pre-board or have boarding group one. I got to pay for a checked bag. And when I look at that, and I'm talking real time, real life today with American and Delta, I'm like, it's not worth it. Even if it might have to take a red eye. I don't mind the first flight out. I love a 6 a.m. flight. I'm not going to lie. I don't mind first flight out. I do mind an 11 p.m. flight that lands at 6 a.m. I do care about that. So, yeah. But if it's one of those things where, oh, I could take the Delta flight, but it's going to cost me so much more, so much of a hindrance outside of my norm that it's not worth it. And so, yes, make sure you do your math. But that's the only thing I could personally compare it to.
Lani, why don't you status match? Like with 1K, you would be able to status match at a pretty high level to everything. I'm surprised you don't, just to be able to have those bases covered if something weird came up.
I've done it before. And the thing is when I've done it, I've only needed it like once. It wasn't something that would like completely change my mind on all of a sudden now I'm going to start flying American. So, okay, it was convenient for me this one time. Maybe it was a direct flight versus having to connect in Denver or something like weird or something like that. But you're absolutely right. I can status match. I get the status match offers, but at the same time, it's what am I actually going to use this for? And if I can't use it, it's not necessarily worth it. If United really screwed me over and I was looking for another airline, I would 100% consider it. But I'm just not there yet where why should I just switch for the sake of switching? So it's really just a promotional offer, in my opinion, the way that I look at it. So if Delta says, "Hey, we'll status match you," and it's never like the top tier. So even though it's 1K with United, it might be like second from the top with Delta or American. It's never the absolute top tier. And I'm not talking about what's equivalent to global services. I don't know all their medallions and whatever status ranks and names, but it's never like apples to apples. It's like apples to a slightly bruised apple, like one tier down. And like I said, there's a few times, especially on the East Coast with American to get in Delta to get from like anywhere in Florida to somewhere else on the East Coast, 100%. But that's a so far one off occurrence for me that I'll only be flying vertically on the East Coast that it's not really, doesn't really make any sense to me. So, no point.
Makes sense. RJ, your topic this week.
So mine is more of a travel than a credit card, which we do occasionally dive into. What kind of preparer are you for travel? Are you packing several days or, in my case, several weeks before the trip? Are you somebody who plans out different outfits? Are you team merino wool where you're wearing like the same four shirts for a week and a half and cool, calm, and collected and everything matches so it doesn't matter what you grab? How do you plan when you go? And yes, I know all of you have children. So if you want to include how you handle having a tiny human that you have to do all of the work for, please feel free to do that because I don't have to do that and it makes me feel better about my choices. Craig, I will start with you.
Yeah. So, first answer with a tiny human. For the most part, we have his clothes pretty well laid out. We are just going to grab something, unless it's a formal event, right? And also, that's the good thing. And shout out to the American Express Platinum with Walmart Plus. I am quick to have something delivered to a hotel. Oh, we forgot socks for the little guy. Okay, whatever. We don't particularly dress. So I have a little boy who thinks he's Jeff Hardy. If I would let him, he would eat dirt and chalk right off the floor. I'm not putting him in expensive clothes. I have friends that buy Jordans for their kids, and kid has $100 pair of shoes before they can walk, which I respect it. Good for you. I want my Jordans, but like for a kid that can't walk, I don't care. My son is an old Navy or Walmart or whatever. It looks cute. So if we forget something for him, as long as I have diapers, wipes, and a nap mat, I do not care. Now, with with my wife and myself, I travel enough for work that I know what I need to pack, and it's just second nature for me. So if it's a solo trip, I can just grab stuff and go. But so, for example, for this London trip, my wife doesn't travel nearly as much as I do, but she has enough abroad experience. She is a we are 2 weeks out. Why aren't we packing the bags person? I'm a yeah, we leave in like a day or two. Let's go ahead and get things packed. But I also keep most of my stuff ready to go. So like my little ditty bag is always packed up with what I need to shave or my toiletries. I keep a travel set of all my skincare products. I am always prepared to go somewhere, right? Even my like normal everyday carry, I keep a little Belroy sling. I've got some small toiletries in there, keys, wallet, phone, anchor charging brick at all times that is always charged. So if I ever need to go somewhere or anywhere, I can get going. And I also keep a change of clothes in my car. So That's me. I think as I've gotten older, packing has gotten a lot easier. Less clothes, but much more capsule wardrobe. I also don't buy nearly as many clothes now just because I don't need to go and buy a $10 t-shirt. And again, I think it's nicer to just buy a nicer shirt or a nicer wardrobe, even if it's not flashy or anything like that, that just works. The flashiest thing that you're going to see on me is my shoes. Now, I will admit, sometimes I will put together an outfit that like matches a pair of sneakers. I just got a pair of Spike Lee fours. That's a shout out for Lonnie. He knows what those are. And I'm so excited to wear those in London, right? I don't care if I look like the big weird American, but like those shoes are great. I also got a pair of Carolina blue ones. I'm so excited to wear those shoes. And I know with the capsule wardrobe that I have, no matter what I put on up top, it's going to work. I am a merino wool person. Again, it's problematic because I can always find merino wool pants. I'm a big person. They don't make 2X's and 3X's. So it's hard to find those. So when I do, it's awesome. I will also say I like to have a hotel that has a washer dryer or has a cleaning service. I am not wearing a shirt 3 days in a row. That's just not going to happen. Mama Craig, Mama Carter would be ready to fight me. That's just not how we function. So the only thing that I have to make sure, no matter what that I pack, are however many days I'm gone, I need 3 more days of underwear and socks past that. Everything else we will figure out.
I respect your wife for 2 weeks out wanting to pack because I feel that. Lonnie is a one of the more zen and calm among us. What is your packing strategy? How far out do you pack? I know you're a stylish man, so how is there individual outfits or is it more of a capsule system?
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm going to write that last one down so I can make sure I touch it. So for me, I feel like I'm never not packing. I feel like I'm always packing for something, whether it be a personal trip or a business trip. Now, I'm going to touch on what Craig had mentioned. It 100% on where I'm going and who I'm traveling with. But I'm going to lean more on the personal side for this answer. And I always start packing at least 2 days out in advance, and that's at minimum. In some cases, maybe even a week out in advance. You might have even seen some podcast episodes or even some of my videos where you see like a giant box or suitcase over here in the corner behind me because like it's always right there and to help me like make sure I don't forget anything. So I always start at least 2 days out. Like one of the things that I usually always forget is swimwear. Like I just forget to pack swim trunks. I just don't know why. So I need to like think about it and then grab the bag, put the swim trunks in it, and that's it. Just zip it back up and put it in the corner. So just to make sure I don't forget my swimwear and to make sure I get all the documents needed, especially like things like passports, or if you're on a cruise, even though now you can just use passports on a cruise. But maybe I need birth certificates. Maybe I need a sea pass. Maybe I need the confirmation numbers. So FYI, if you guys are ever going to take a cruise, print everything out. Okay. And this is what I mean by the documents. Print everything out. You don't really need it for a flight, but when these types of vacations or all inclusive, you do. And then also my electronics and my backpack are always the first thing that I pack. First off, as Craig had mentioned, got to make sure everything's charged up. Got to charge up the headphones. Got to make sure the battery packs are charged up. Make sure the laptop or the travel laptop, because I take a different laptop when I travel. Make sure those things are charged up because they might not hit a charger until we get to the destination. I'm not one to sit on the floor in the airport plugged in. So it's just in the bag, but I want to make sure it's charged up when I need it to turn on. And then I start on the kid stuff. Now, getting to the kid stuff and my stuff, there's two things. One, I am a connoisseur of packing cubes. If you want to know what a good packing cube is, holla at me. Send me a DM. Tell me what type of clothes you got, how long you need to put stuff in it, what type of bag you're putting them in. I've done it all. I've had compression ones, I've had non-compression ones, I got vacuum seal ones, I got zip up ones, I got nylon ones, I got air breathable ones, I got plastic. If you need a packing cube, trust me, I have tested them all out and I live and swear by them. Compression cubes are now the best and favorite, and I do have two of my favorites. We aren't sponsored, and I'm not going to get into that today. But compression cubes, they actually do work if you know how to pack things correctly in them, and they save a lot of space. And that also goes to my travel trunks, which is something new that I got after my son was born, because we're traveling for 3 now. And so instead of a standard size suitcase, you now go to any website, Level 8, Ramoa has them, Away has them. Everyone has these like giant trunks now that count as a check bag. And with packing cubes, what my family does, my wife, my son, and I, we have all our own. They're color coordinated. So my wife has a color, I have a color, he has a color. Just get it in the bags. We don't need my bag, his bag, her bag. We just need 2 trunks because we're a family traveling. We start off with 2 bags, car seat and stroller. And it's usually me trying to push these things through the airport because someone has to like hold his hand and then someone else has to get the bags over to the counter. And so I want to be as efficient as possible. I got a left arm and a right arm. And if I can put them on the handles and push 2 bags, boom, efficiency. So we just put everything in a travel trunk. And it doesn't, and like I said, it's not, this is her bag and this is my bag. No, it's just Tetris. Just make it fit. You got all your cubes, give them here. You got all my cubes, put them in that bag. As long as they just make it. That's all that we care about. And that's how we look at there. Now, when it comes to the actual outfits, that's where, depending on where I'm going, really takes into effect. So if I'm going to a place that's hot, I don't like wearing shorts that are not swim trunks. That's it. That's the only time you'll ever really see me wear shorts. I wear pants basically all other times, but they're like lightweight pants, like nylon pants. Same thing with t-shirts. I'm not a fan of merino wool, but you can get a thick, heavy t-shirt, or you can get a very light t-shirt that you can wear in the heat. Maybe you don't put an undershirt on that day. Those types of things. So there's one company that makes a butter blend style t-shirt. I'm not going to say the company name, but you probably heard of it before. And if not, just send me a DM and I'll share it with you. One of the most comfortable t-shirts you can go all day in and sleep in and everything else. But the thing is, they're super light, super compactable. They don't wrinkle up. So I can roll them up tight, put them in a packing cube, and I can put 9 of those in one packing cube, even though I might only be gone for a 7-day trip. But the other aspect of it is, a hotel for washing and dryer will always be my go-to. Now, is it going to happen every single time? Absolutely not. You know me, I already like a room with a room in it. I also like a room that has a washer and dryer in it. And depending on the destination in Vegas, they got them in Vegas. You can go to Vidara right on the Aria properties, 15 steps away. They're literal apartments with washer dryers and full kitchens in them. If you're at Disney, you can go to any type of villa or stand at the Evermore Resort, which is also right next to Magic Kingdom. They're literal hotel rooms with washers and dryers in them. I'm only using those, even though they got the same things in Chicago. Of course, I know Chicago inside and out. You got them in New York as well, or at least a laundry room of some kind, even not like service, but I can just go down to the second floor and use a laundry room. That counts for me as well, because that can actually mean I can pack less, wash some clothes, and do it all over again, especially if I'm jumping around from destination to destination. Maybe I'm hitting 2 places up before I come home. Then yeah, one of those spots is going to be a room that has a washer dryer in it, so I can wash those clothes before we have to hop to the next destination. I think I checked all your boxes off there, and that's how I look at it. But like I said, I'm never not packing. I got stuff over here charging right now, and I'm not even going anywhere for the next couple of weeks. Just, I'm always in that what's next mode.
I do have a follow-up question. How many pairs of shoes go into the trunk?
Also depends on where I'm going. And funny enough, have those shoes ever been to that destination before? Or or am I adding something on? And what I mean is, I actually, even though I have a ton of shoes, I can tell you every single country those shoes have stepped in. Just pick a box and I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember I wore those in Indonesia. I remember I wore those in China. Like, I know exactly where every single one has been. And I actually have a couple that are like, this one has been in 15 different countries, or out of all the Disney properties around the world, I've worn this particular pair of shoes. And so it's okay, now I need to go here. These have never been here before. So I actually go and pack those. If I'm going by myself, I'll probably take 1 or 2. I'm always going to have at least 1 or 2 in my bag. But if it's a long trip, like 10 days, I'm probably going to take 3 or 4 different pairs with me because health. You shouldn't wear the same pair of shoes every single day, especially if you're doing 15K, 20K steps a day. Go look it up. You shouldn't do it. So you should be swapping out your shoes. And I do it for that reason, also for the fashion side. But then the other aspect, if I'm traveling with my family and we only got 2 trunks and something has to get jettisoned, it's probably going to be my pair of shoes. We can't throw out a toiletry bag. I can't throw out pajamas, those types of things. So it all depends.
I
I
will
just wanna
say, oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, Craig.
I was going to say, I love always hearing Lani talk because it makes me feel so much better about the way that we pack as a family. Because I'm like, oh yeah, we do that. Compression cubes, yeah. Trunk, absolutely. I didn't want to get so granular because I didn't think that you all thought about it. But then I hear Lani and I was like, oh yeah, okay. And I feel it's like when the teacher says, no, somebody else probably also has that question. Lani always makes me feel validated, so I appreciate it.
Hey, and if anyone ever has a question, just reach out to me. And I'm not afraid to sing for my supper. I got affiliate links to all these companies. I don't support them. You don't see them on my YouTube channels, but Craig has reached out about Anchor to me before.
Yeah.
I got affiliate links to Anchor, luggage companies, all sorts of stuff. It doesn't really pay much, but it's a little something. And I'm happy to support them if you guys want to reach out. But like I said, I don't like shove it in your face. You never see me do a video. This is my favorite piece of luggage. One, because they don't pay me enough for that. They do, though. I do have a price if you're listening. I do have a price.
I am up to 5 pairs of shoes. I bought a pair of shoes today. It was Adidas because they were 15x on Rakuten, so I went with Adidas.
Oh, you missed out on the 20 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
But 15
I
is still
did.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you use your MPX app?
No, I didn't because I'm working something else, so I needed to go straight on the
Mm.
credit card. But yes, I did buy a 5th pair of shoes. So that's very exciting for me. I am not somebody who care. Like I have a uniform. I basically how you guys see me on the podcast is my uniform. There is a t-shirt or a Henley. There's usually something over it for pockets because women's pants apparently we don't need pockets, so our pockets are like that big. And jeans, and then some form of shoes. Both of my sneaker-ish shoes are Adidas now because of Lani. So he has impact, guys.
They
Major
are
impact.
comfortable. They're
Yeah.
fashionable and comfortable and functional.
I got the everyday fours, I think is
Oh,
the name.
nice.
So yes, they were on sale. I love a sale. Matt, as the most fashionable person on this podcast,
That's a lie.
sans hoodie today. How are you packing? Are you just a grab and go? Are you actually planning out your outfits every day? How many suitcases just for hoodie collection?
Oh, no suitcases for hoodie. There's but one hoodie, and that is the hoodie that is going on the trip. I am very much less nuanced than my colleagues on this one. I unpacked like a week before, minor miracle. I tend to throw everything into a Victorinox weekender bag because I'm not taking lengthy trips. So I'm typically, if it's a week, I'm surprised. So if it's 4 or 5 days, I can get 4 or 5 days worth of clothes into that weekender bag, no problem. There's always the possibility of a laundry service at the hotel, or some hotels that I end up booking do in fact have the laundry rooms in the floor. Always solid. Worst comes to worst, you can always find a wash and fold and bring whatever you got to bring there. Lonnie's very much against this idea.
I am not spending any type of vacation, even a business trip, sitting in the laundromat when I could go be doing something else because I'm not
Oh,
leaving,
no.
I'm not going to leave my stuff in the laundromat unattended.
No.
I'm not going to be on the laundromat off the Martin Luther King Drive just letting my stuff spin around. Absolutely not.
In my previous life, the wash and fold service was pretty much all I could make sure. It was like the only way I knew I was going to have clean clothes for a little while. That was long-term stuff versus short-term. The short-term trips, everything was in my weekender bag when I'm traveling with my family. Player two tends to handle everything for them, and little one, they're pretty much packed drop dead 2 to 3 days beforehand. I'm usually packed drop dead, no less than a day and a half, 2 days beforehand. I usually will just keep the backpack to the last day because my everyday stuff is like my laptop, my chargers, my cables, my recording equipment if I think I'm going to be recording or if there's a live planned. That can get thrown into the bag last minute. That's pretty easy. But again, I'm doing like 3-4 day jaunts. I'm not doing week 10 days at this point. So I don't have to, I haven't been doing the storage cubes or compression or anything like that just because I don't have the need for it. But as I will be taking, when I take longer vacations, I'll be looking into the more advanced packing strategies. But for me right now, it has been, I have a weekender bag. I can get 4 or 5 days worth of clothes in there. Pack extras just in case. My carry-on bag, which is my personal item, which is usually my backpack, I keep at least 1 to 2 changes of clothes in there just in case, because God only knows what can happen with your bags. You lose your bag at least. I do not want to be in a situation where I have nothing and I have to go out and buy things first thing wherever I'm going because my bag got lost. So for me, my personal item or carry-on bag is always going to have at least an extra an extra set of clothes, regardless.
Matt, try
Yeah,
packing cubes. Even though I know you don't think you need them, I have a backpack that is self-contained, right? It's got charging stuff, it's got a toiletry kit, it's got a 2-day change of clothes. That is always packed.
yeah,
There's a packing cube in there because it just makes things easier. So it's a pouch system, right? I can just throw things in and out as I need it. My carry-on is always packed for 5 days because if my grandmother or a relative is sick and I have to get on plane and go, that is always packed.
yeah.
Packing cubes, many packing cubes in that one. But yeah, no, Matt, trust me, like packing cubes will change you. Like it is not a cult, but it could be.
Anytime, dear viewer, anytime anyone says it is not a cult, it's a cult.
But
Doesn't
packing
matter
cubes
what
are
it
worth
is.
it. Packing cubes are worth joining the cult of packing cubes for.
Agreed.
Yeah, but no, I am always packed. Like I am that person because my EDC backpack that I carry is my personal item when I'm on the plane. So the only thing that comes out of that is I have a toolkit that has a Leatherman in it, and that has to come out because TSA does not like those. And I also carry a travel set of cutlery because food happens sometimes, and I like to be prepared. Look, it is who I am as a person. That has to come out because there's a butter knife in it, and TSA doesn't like that either. So I don't know how they would be about a fork. I'm not going to test that. Anyway, those two
Chopsticks.
things come out. I do have chopsticks in there as well, and a straw.
You can eat a sandwich with chopsticks. So skip all that
You
and
can
just
eat
keep.
a sandwich with chopsticks. I cannot eat a sandwich with chopsticks.
I got mad respect for the chopsticks.
I have watched people do things like that, and I am in awe, but I do not have the coordination. Like, I trip over lines on the floor. I am not the person that's going to be eating a sandwich with chopsticks.
Look, I hold them wrong, but it's efficient for me, and I am able to consume 85-90% of what I should be able to consume with chopsticks. I don't get the individual grains of rice, but I'm good.
But no, I appreciate you guys. Different answers, and I appreciate the nuance in all of them.
Yeah, campaign life, learn where your washing folds are. Or scheduling a day off to do your dang laundry. Always helps.
A room with a
Um,
laundry room in it. That won't be
yeah, I
the
don't go.
title, but it
No,
is a good one. That's a nice one. Rolls off the tongue.
I have the laundry in the facility on the floor, not in the room, but that that can work too. All right, Craig, your topic this week.
Yeah. So I know we didn't talk about much for news, but there were some small devaluations. United did some things with their excursionist perk, which was new post pandemic. There were some small hits to points availability. Hilton made some changes. Bonvoy is always bonvoying us because, of course, they are. But this leads me to the question of we as a community are oftentimes finding ourselves in chicken little situations where we are screaming the sky is falling and the points and miles game is ending. And I want to give a shout out to the points and to the frequent miler podcast for touching on this subject a little bit as well. But what is your favorite devaluation or game is ending moment in recent history, and how did you handle that? Did you make any adjustments? Did it affect you directly? And how did you make accommodations with your strategy? Let's start out with RJ.
So my strategy isn't built around the ability for things to be devalued. Like they would have to actually remove benefits from cards, right? If they took the companion pass off of the Delta cards, that would be a huge thing for me. That would be a major, I would just not have the cards anymore. But because of how I travel and because of I mostly am paying cash and then looking for those like incredible redemptions or family trips where I want to save people money that I'm traveling with, I don't really feel the devaluations as strongly as people who only pay with points and miles and are looking for like the room within a room at the hotel. So for me, most of them really don't impact me unless a feature is removed. If they took Walmart Plus off of the Platinum card in a refresh, that would impact me, right? That would be a devaluation to the card that would be a problem. Or if they took 1 to 2 away from the Hilton, that would be a problem. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot that's ever going to really impact how I play this game because perks and things like that are really what I'm going for, not make the most points, only travel on points and miles, or predominantly travel on points and miles, or even 50% of the time travel on points and miles. I'm doing it slightly differently, but I'm doing it in a way that is how I'm looking for those things because I don't status is something that I can buy and I'm happy with buying it. It's not something because I don't do work travel I'm ever going to get that way. So I'm looking more for perks. So devaluation doesn't really hit me. I don't have a better answer than that.
No, I think that's a perfect answer. I think it's very uniquely you. And I think oftentimes we talk about, oh, wow, the credit card game is not groupthink at all. Everybody is so unique. And then we fall right back into groupthink. So 100%. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, just a quote from that frequent miler episode that you mentioned. The game that as you knew it 5 years ago is dead. The game as of today is still very much alive, and there's always the possibility of epic value. The thing that I have in my short time in this hobby have grown to look forward to is just watching people's reaction when the Hyatt award chart gets updated in February, because it is, oh my God, this went up to a category 5 and this went up to a category 6, and there's no more category 4s to use my free night certificate at anymore. Watching that, and instead of going, hey, you know what Hyatt didn't do? They didn't get rid of award charts, their award chart. They've still got a basic 1 to 8 category system. You know what you're going to get. Whereas with Marriott, does 100,000 points equal 100,000 points? No, because it's Marriott. So changes to ecosystems will happen all the time. Changes to award programs will happen all the time. United's going to change various perks that you can get with award bookings. Accor will change various perks. Airline X that you don't fly but you were interested in for this one big redemption, maybe they get that they make that redemption go away. The ANA around the world flights, I would have loved to have been able to take one. That is not going to be something I can do going forward. But like, that wasn't the sky is falling, this is the end of awards. That was just ANA had this really cool program that I can't take part in. To me, the biggest chicken little is always in February when when you get word about what is coming down the pipe for Hyatt a month later, and the change isn't so drastic that it is, we're now going fully dynamic. It's, you, oh my God, there are no category 4s anymore. Okay. There's still like a crummy, and it's not a crummy hotel. There's still a 3 that you can go to with no problem and burn that free night certificate at and get reasonably good value for the free night certificate that you're holding on to every year. Like, it's not the end of the world that there's one less category 4 hotel for you to worry about.
Matt, it sounds like you didn't squeeze every single penny out of a Hyatt point, and I'm very disappointed in you.
Bro, I got other things to worry about. So many other things.
I think that is a fantastic way to frame that. Lonnie, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to follow Matt and RJ on this one, where I don't see devaluations as that big of a deal because it's always going to happen. It's like inflation. Like, when was the last time gas prices went down? And I'm not talking about it was 20 cents down from last week. It actually went back down to $1. It's not going to happen. And next year, it's going to be higher than this year. It's like one of those things where devaluations are always coming. Now, it would be nice to understand and have a heads up of when it's going to happen, but we'll never get that information. And when it comes to certain perks, now, I will say the United Excursionist perk. Do I care? No. Have I ever taken advantage of it? Maybe once, ever. And I don't know a single person that has either. Now, I don't work for United. I haven't talked to United, but I can only imagine that probably not a lot of people are taking advantage of it. And it wasn't very well known in the first place. So it's, oh, we got rid of this thing. And okay. Can I be mad that they got rid of something that wasn't taken advantage of anyway? You can't miss what you never had. Man, I didn't win that lottery jackpot. Okay, you never had that money. So what are you actually missing? That type of scenario. And the other aspect of it is this is another reason why I advocate for planning in advance and booking as early as possible. I know we talked about this last week as well. It's because it's literally like you found out Bentleys were on sale for 50% off yesterday. So I could actually, right, we're recording this right now, and it's a Monday on Memorial Day, right? And we can talk about all the Memorial Day sales and be like, oh man, this is a really great deal. But the time this episode comes out and someone listens to it, that sale will be over. You missed out. And that's the best way I can put a devaluation is you had an opportunity and you missed it. So you just got to suck. Tomorrow is coming. You just got to suck up and take the L on that one. You missed it. It'll be back around again. We're going to have Memorial Day next year. You look like that guy. Remember the one that has his birthday every year? Like that, you're that guy. That's the way that I'm looking at it. So it's not that big of a deal. But the other aspect of it is, like I said, it's 100% normal. As we started off this episode talking about age, I've been around to see a ward flight start at 10K. And then they went up to 15K. And then you can get a free flight for 25K. Now it's 60K. Where's the 10K flight ever at anymore? It's gone. It just devaluation over devaluation over devaluation. So one, get ahead of it as much as you can. They're always going to be devalued. This is why, even though I might sit on a lot of United miles, I try to use them for something, even if it's like through United's actual go shopping store, not a shopping portal, but Matt and I have talked about this. Let me go buy the new Nintendo Switch with my United miles and get 0.8. I got to use them for something. They're going to get devalued eventually if the longer they sit there. They're not worth anything until I use them. But at least I didn't have to take $500 out of my pocket. Just go use them. Whatever makes you happy. I'm not going to say it was a good deal or a bad redemption, whatever. Just use them. And then you'll never have to actually worry about devaluations. Now, my favorite, worst, and best devaluation, a real life example to actually finally answer your question. Got to do it. Got to do it, man. Sorry, Matt. Built 10K rent day down to 1K rent day. Worst evaluation, period. Drop the mic.
That one was bad.
Yeah. There's no coming back from that one. Yeah.
Also, if you're never going to stay at a thing that gets devalued, maybe calm down a little. Like Craig being upset about places he was genuinely going to stay being devalued is one thing. But if you've only ever stayed at Hampton Inns, you being concerned about the devaluation of the Maldives probably is not top of mind. Like, it's okay.
Nope.
That is the one that
It's
gets
okay.
me.
But if that Hampton Inn went from 40K a night to 90K a night, yes, be upset.
100%.
That I understand, but like also it's if you have 2 million points and you're complaining about the devaluation of points, I don't know, cash them out and just go actually have a vacation. Like just use the money from the cash out at that point. Just
Literally touch some grass.
I do appreciate D-Brand. I don't like that it was plastic, but D-Brand did a touch grass case that was little bits of plastic, so it actually had texture to it.
No, I like that.
That was great.
Everybody, I am going to just say I agree with you all. I think that we overplay this and overblow it to such a degree, and it's always hilarious because I'm not quite as zen as Lonnie, but I look at just some of the mass panic and hysteria that we get, and I was like, guys, just calm down. It's okay. You'll get another ink eventually, or calm down. You'll go to the Seychelles, or you'll be able to complain about a hotel in a far off place that you'll never stay at, but that's okay. We all have different travel habits, and it's okay that things change. Inflation happens, change happens. It's scary sometimes, but it always happens. So, with that, I pass it back to our host.
Yeah, it always happens. And when people bring that type of stuff up, I put it in words they understand, and usually it falls in one of these categories. Remember when ramen noodle packs were 25 cents or 13 cents, and now they cost like $1.40 a pack? Not saying I'm eating ramen noodles. I'm just saying they got devalued. And then who remembers a dollar menu at any fast food restaurant?
Yep.
And then the value menu. Yeah, that got devalued too. So I probably just triggered a whole bunch of folks that drive through drive-throughs. I cook at home, so that doesn't apply to me. But still, it happens. It happens in every single aspect. And if you don't got kids, every time I go to the grocery store, I have to buy a gallon of milk. I sit and realize, why does this gallon cost so much? And I'm not talking about the current administration. It just costs more.
I hadn't been to Subway since 2009, and I went to Subway for work because we were just doing something. I didn't know that footlongs weren't $5 anymore, and I got like a chicken teriyaki, and it came out to $17, and I was just floored. Absolutely floored. Same thing with the value menu, but I was like, when were footlongs not $5? And this lady looked at me and I say lady, it's a high school kid. They've always been this price. I was like, oh, you're too young to remember this. Never mind. I'm the old man yelling at the sky.
Wendy's, you have to take out a second mortgage between the speaker box and the window because it's $19 for just a combo at Wendy's.
Do you remember when Five Guys cost $20 no matter what you ordered? Now it's
No.
like 35. Like you always had to break a 20 going into Five Guys. You got a double stack burger, fries that always order the small fries, folks, at Five Guys. Never that rule has never changed. And it'll always come up to $19.88 or no more than like $22.13, no matter where you were at in the country. And now one person, that same thing, it's like 35, 40 bucks. It's so ridiculous. But there's absolutely nothing, no combination of ingredients at Subway that should cost $17, Greg. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Nope. 10-piece nugget meal, medium 10-piece nugget meal, and a Happy Meal, 6-piece nugget Happy Meal today, $20.33.
Oh, my heart. Jesus Christ.
There are reasons why I want to burn everything to the ground so that we can rebuild it because, man, no.
And this is why we don't need another dining category on a credit card. You just need one good credit card for all your dining purchases. Can we put some gas on something? Can we just put gas on something? IHG Premier, this is why you're the Amy card.
I got gas on my autograph. I don't know what anyone's worried about there. All right. Thanks, Craig. Speaking of cards and potentially overlooked categories. Are there any cards that you think people should give a second or third look to? Cards that get panned for whatever reason, but probably don't deserve it? Lonnie, I'll throw to you first on this one.
Dang it. I don't know if I have a good answer for this. I honestly don't. Cars that just get panned. Is that your way of saying pwned? With being YouTube safe? Is pwned YouTube safe?
No,
I think it is. Because South Park says it on YouTube, so I think we're okay.
Cards that people are like, that card is trash. People will just throw out and say that card is terrible, but it's really not a terrible card.
Are you gonna make me say it? You're gonna make
No,
me
you
say
don't
it.
have to say it because I can say it.
I'm going to say the CSP.
Oh,
I was gonna say the built card.
Same card.
Yeah.
$95 delta between them, but same card.
It's not the card that's the problem, and I'm gonna leave
Nope.
it right there because I do not want to go down that rabbit hole tonight. But I would say that's pretty much the only one. Hold on, let me look at my digital wallet just to see if I have any cathartic feelings towards any card in here that just gets a bad rap. No, because the Business Inc. Unlimited actually just it does one thing and it does one thing very well. I can't be mad at it, but it doesn't really do anything except for that one thing, and it does a great job of that
One
one thing, which I can't be mad at because I want a card that just does one thing and I have it. No, hey, I'm gonna have to bow out. You might have to edit my whole answer out. I have nothing for you on this one, Matt. I can't think of anything other than built card.
No, the bill card's perfectly fine. Again, Lani and I did like literally an hour on this. The card is fine. The program, still pretty good.
We're not going down this rabbit hole, Matt.
It's the company. That's all I was doing. I was just doing those 3 points. Card, good. Program, still pretty good. Company, dumpster fire. Craig, any card that gets panned that probably doesn't deserve it?
I hate to be the guy, and I'm gonna put hotel cards to the side because if you don't stay a certain place, you just don't stay a certain place, right?
Yeah.
Two of my favorite cards in my wallet, CSR and the Platinum. Love it or hate it, people are going to hate on both of those cards. I think the CSR is a great card, right? And I know Lonnie will agree with me. People may not want to spend, in my case, 625 because I have an authorized user, but it is a good card, people. It stays in my wallet. I use it for travel. I use it for transit. It is my main SEPTA card. Whenever I'm going someplace to a new city and I can use my card to swipe in and swipe out, it gets use. And we love to talk about how much people love Hyatt, but then we will dog on the CSR. And then out of nowhere, maybe 6 months ago, people were like, hey, this isn't so bad. And it always wasn't so bad. And now the sky is falling again because it's going to supposedly getting coupons. And it's like, just if the card's not for you, the card's not for you. And I think that's what gets me so much. And I need to give a shout out to John R. for John's Travel. I'm so tired of people saying the cards are trash. If the program's trash, 100%. If it doesn't have the partners that you want and you think that's trash, 100%. But cards aren't trash. They just aren't for you. And I think that we have had a bit of a shift where people think everything is for them. And sometimes it's okay for you to just bow out and say, maybe the CSR isn't for me, maybe the Platinum isn't for me, but it's still a good card. I can tell you right now, even if I didn't do work spend, we still take somewhere between 10 and 15 trips a year. I still need to fly places and I still want to go and take a shower or get some free food. Platinum's a great card, even if I don't use anything else on that card. I know Lani made a video a few months ago about it being a subscription. And yeah, at first I was opposed to it, but now I'm like, yeah, it's a subscription service. And to that point, if even if I lost all multipliers and they just said, hey, Craig, here's a discount on the streaming services that you use because I like having Disney Plus. I bag on them, but we're Disney adults. Not to the point where I'm going to push my kid down, but like I've been to lots of Disney places, and like Lonnie, I got a pair of closing ceremony gold low top 11s that have been to almost every Disney property, and I still need to hit Paris and Tokyo. After that, we're good.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for that.
Whenever we're going and I know we're going to go to a Disney place, they have to get packed. They just have to. But yeah, the CSR and the platinum are my answer there. And I'm just really tired of people bagging on cards because they're not for them. But yeah, that's me.
And I
Makes
still
sense.
have a platinum, by the way. So I wasn't ragging on it. I did call it a subscription. I stand by that. But I also have the card.
At every
Oh, it's
update. Yep.
absolutely a subscription. Like 3 of us have it, and all 3 of us will say it's a subscription.
100%.
Matt, you got to join the cool club.
I do not have to join the cool club. I might at some point.
Almost doxed myself.
Matt, I'm going to be real with you because you were there as I was making my decision. I was once anti Amex Platinum card, and I'm not going to say I did it for the channel, but I did it because I had conversations with people that had the card, and it started making more and more sense on where it could fit. And then I got 175K sub offer, so that was like nail in the coffin. I'll give it a smash and grab. I'll give it 1 year. It's been a year. My 695 has hit my statement already. I think I'm holding on to it. It actually, you don't swipe it for Jack Diddley, but it does work. It works. It makes a whole lot of sense. It works.
I'll do some more evaluation on it for myself, but looking at it right now from where I am, it's too much for Hilton Gold. Marriott Gold ain't worth nothing. And then figuring out the FHR, figuring out some of the other credits. Just if the credits can work, great. If they don't work, that's the thing. I just need to make the math.
FHR is the kicker, man. That's a cherry on top. I can't lie. If they gave me FHR on my gold card, I might not need my platinum anymore. But the fact FHR by itself. Now, I'm not going to say go get the platinum card just for FHR. I'm not saying that to Matt. I'm not saying that to anybody listening. But I will say FHR as a independent benefit is worth it, especially the fact that if you have status, you get Marriott Gold, but let's say you got the Bonvoy Brilliant, so you got platinum. You can still do FHR and get all your platinum.
And you get all your platinum perks, yeah.
No,
those things are intriguing to me.
Oh yeah. And that's why I'm more than anything, I know we haven't talked about this directly yet, but I am super enticed on how Chase is going to finalize and fully launch the edit. If you got the edit and FHR, come on, Craig. Come on, man.
No, I got to admit, we do FHR every year for our staycation, for our anniversary, and it's great every single time. The FHR is the reason that we discovered the Pendry. And for those that don't know, Pendry is a small boutique brand throughout the country and some small.
Yeah, former boutique. Yep.
Yeah. It's still great. I've always had a fantastic stay no matter where we go. And I'll also say this for the parents in the room, my kid gets 2 hours of screen time, right? Those are the 2 hours that you can look at a TV. Other than that, we are doing something enriching or you're going to go and do something. But the fact that I can get Bluey for free is worth $695. Please believe that. Because if I have to hear one more time, Bluey, bingo, hooray. I've seen every episode of Bluey at least 55 times.
Why is Bluey so good? That is just good, wholesome television. Why is it so good?
Because then I'm like, even as a parent, I'm like, you know what, Bandit? That wasn't the right choice, but I understand it.
I know where you're coming from.
Exactly.
Man, I sit there with my toddler. I think I'm watching it more than he is sometimes.
You are. You absolutely are. Now, if the math can math, I will give it another look. RJ, besides the CSP, was there any other card you wanted to throw in there?
I thought Lani was going to say the CSP just to get under your skin. Also, I fact checked you, Lani. Right now, at my local Five Guys, a bacon cheeseburger, because that's what I would get, a fry and a drink, $19.65. So that $20.
I was right there. I said 1988.
Yeah.
I was right there.
Right there. I wanted to give a shout out for that. So I have 2 cards in my head. I think I'm going to go Amex Green though. And I think the problem is the platinum and the gold often get elevated welcome offers. Like you can get a lot of, especially the platinum will get a ton of elevated welcome offers. The gold will occasionally get them, but you just never see an elevated welcome offer on the green. It just doesn't happen. The green is a great card if you're not into co-brands. If you're a true free agent, like you don't need the platinum benefits or don't want them, and you're a free agent, you don't have loyalty to Hilton or Marriott or whatever, you just want to go wherever you want to go, you want to book direct, you want to do all that, the green is the perfect card. Like it is great for that. But because it doesn't get a elevated welcome offer and because it's not on quote the same level as the platinum, people panic. And it's such a great card. Also, Matt, please, when you're doing the math of the platinum, don't calculate in Hilton Gold or Marriott Gold as like a thing. It comes with the card as part of it. It is not part of the math. If you say you're paying $695 for Hilton Gold, I'm gonna drive down to where you live and do the glasses thing where I look at you disapprovingly like a librarian from the 50s because that's just a no.
I wouldn't be adding it into the math, but the credits so far, like, I would be basing it on the credits first.
Yes.
Hilton Gold is just a bonus on top of it, but Marriott Gold is stupid.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes. The fact that you get Marriott Gold on the Centurion card is maybe my favorite part of the Centurion card just because of the absurdity of it.
Oh, it's just one final FU from Marriott.
But you get Delta Platinum, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, no, those are all fair. Built CSP definitely makes sense. I rag on the CSP. I rag on the Venture a lot. These are all good cards. It's just I see value in other cards. Like with the CSP, I see more value in the CSR.
But you have to
The
have $550.
Yes. You have to be willing to pay $550. Yes. And you have to have the ability to have $550 every year. Yes. And if I didn't have that ability and I wasn't willing to pay $550 or who knows whatever other price may happen in the not too distant future, as long as I can pay it and as long as it works for me, I will pay it. But yeah, 95 is a lot easier to swallow, or 150 is a lot easier to swallow than 550 or more. Like the CSP, I just feel that there are certain inefficiencies with that card. Just is what it is, but it's still a good card. It's not a bad card. I've called it the $95 crap card. It's fine. It is what it is. The Venture card, like I always rag on that one just because just pay the extra $300 and get the Venture X. It's still, if it serves your needs, get the card.
I have that card because I don't want to pay $300 to use a portal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to prepay to use a portal when I hate using portals. So I get the same benefit. Like, I got priority pass on my platinum. So it really is going to depend on what you have and what other cards are in your wallet. If I wanted priority pass, that would be one thing, but I don't care.
Yeah. And any Wells Fargo hate because of Wells Fargo's indiscretions 15, 20 years ago should not besmirch the power that is the autograph card.
Agreed. But I have to say, the way you feel about the CSP, you cannot convince me that the Venture is a good card at $95 for 2X. Either get a Venture 1 if you're spending less than $13,000 or get a Venture X. I get it, but my God, it's 2X for $95 with nothing else.
When they took away the passes to the Capital One lounges, yeah, that substantively hurt it significantly. I don't think you should go out of your way to get the Venture card. I don't care how high the welcome offer on the Venture card goes when it's 100,000 plus 250 in the travel portal. I don't think you have to go out of your way to get the Venture card. I'm just saying that if it seems to fit whatever niche you think it fills, okay.
Everyone does different determinations.
Yes.
That's also not $13,000, but you and I have differing opinions on how that works.
It's a 0.75 difference. You got to take that away from whatever the Divide $95 by 0.75. Bam.
If you want to do
Yep.
that math, friend, I wish you the best of luck.
That's fair. I still think 395 is better off, but yeah, you got to do the portal. Capital One, you bring a whole lot more people in if you took that coupon, reverted it back to a credit, and took it outside the portal for just general travel. $300 general travel credit, way more people would have signed up for the Ventrax. And a lot of people signed up for the Ventrax. Just saying. Anyway. So that'll do it for topics. Thanks everyone for those. You can now find us at the Stack Your Points website. We have a website now. Mentioned on the Thursday Live. StackYourPoints.com. That will have all the way to contact us, all of our YouTube channels, everything that you possibly want for finding out more about the podcast. StackYourPoints.com. Check it out. And once again, StackYourPoints.com. All one word. Lani, any final thoughts?
No, today's been a fun episode. It was a lot of fun. But you can find me, and I know that's your next question. You can find me, I guess, now on our website, which is all one word, stackyourpoints.com, or on my YouTube channel, which is all one word, call me Lani, no.com. But Lani is spelled Lani, or in the Stack Your Points Discord.
If you go to stackyourpoints.com, you will find a link to Call Me Lani, all one word, on said stackyourpoints.com.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. All of our channels, all of our associated channels are over there. The Discord link is in there. I don't know if it's an invite link because we'd have to update that every two.
No,
Okay.
I can do it forever.
Oh, perfect. So join the Discord via stackyourpoints.com. If you want to contact us, stackyourpoints.com. Craig, any final thoughts from you?
No, just had a great time. Glad you all brought me back. Always happy to be a contributing member.
We enjoy having you here, and thank you so much for taking the time. RJ, any final thoughts?
I'm just glad Craig is going to be with us for a little while because he's awesome and it makes me happy when we get to hear differing opinions. And now we have our resident AA guy because we've got Delta, United, kind of JetBlue when Matt decides that he wants to commit to something. And now we have AA. So we're covering all of the colors of the travel world on the airline side.
Commitment's a social construct. Who needs it?
Now we just need Southwest so we can be Captain Planet.
Do we need Southwest?
RJ, you're getting really close to throwing a stray.
I'm not even going there, all right? I just meant as a company, I don't think the venture capitalists are going to let Southwest continue.
I'm throwing up the Kevlar for my boy. You're getting really close to throwing a stray.
Secret Service line, and I appreciate it.
Look, if Elliott Management further destroys the company, it's not on any of us. Anyway. Final thoughts here. Just join us on the live this week. We'll be live on Thursday and every Thursday we can, 8:30 p.m. or later, depending on whatever's happening in my life or RJ's life. 8:30 p.m. Check out stackyourpoints.com. Brand new website. We're very excited about it. Check out the Discord. Check out the various things. But we will see you next week. Thanks for your time. Bye for now.